going to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Okay, folks, I'm Dan Hollifield. Welcome to Last Man Standing. You may or may not have noticed that Stupid Clock was suddenly rescheduled for Saturday night, just about half an hour before showtime tonight. So I moved Last Man Standing up till 9 o'clock, and hopefully, whatever it is that's going around is going to go away with alacrity. Lindsay came home from school Monday and she did not feel good. And we both spent Tuesday feeling really bad. And Wednesday, I got up and drank half a cup of coffee and almost got sick. So I went back to bed. So warm weather's bringing out the pollen is the best thing I can guess. Either that or I do know there is some nasty little virus, and thank God it's short term, that's going around schools and churches and things in this area down here. Joe Dog is suffering as well, but I know it's been warm enough for pollen to be dropped in Chattanooga, so that may be it, or it may be that virus is a little bit more widespread than I thought. With me tonight, I got Joe Bachman right now. We're hoping that other folks will come in later,
Yep.
and adjustments will be made. We'll just run for a little while, and if necessary, we'll leave early and probably go to bed.
Well, I'm
know
kind of glad LMS is early tonight because I am going to be doing NTF tomorrow morning. So
I was just about to say, I know you need to get some sleep so you can get up early enough to start that. You did say that Nick was getting better.
yeah, Nick said he's feeling better. I told him that I'd still handle NTF tomorrow, which he didn't object to. So that means he's feeling better, but he's, not feeling well enough to try and do a stream.
Not back quite in the saddle again, but he's looking at the horse intently.
Yep. And yeah, Joe doesn't need sleep, either of them.
Yeah, well.
Thanks for calling me out online, dear.
Well,
I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Anybody that does any kind of computer programming or convention scheduling usually gets by on Mountain Dew and limited sleep. Hello, Donna. Glad to see you. Feel free to pop in. We're not having stupid o'clock tonight.
Caffeine and sass.
Hey. Okay.
In the form of water.
The iPad is not giving me anybody's chat replies, but StreamYard is, so I can read your comments, I can highlight your comments, I can answer them through here. Hello, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
Hello, Donna. And hello to the lovely Trey as well. Anybody that has time and thinks they can stay awake long enough, get in here.
Yep.
This is not a two-man show. I did message John Scarborough, but I didn't message Chris because I figured he's still at work. So whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tomorrow I want to try and get up at least somewhat early, get a little bit of work done before Nick's show, and then do Nick's show, and then get a little more work done. Or at least that's the current game plan.
Well, and as for the stupid o'clock that was scheduled tonight, I did have time in the brief window that I had because I missed Joe Dog's message until like half an hour before time to get in the room. Tonight's stupid o'clock has been scheduled for Saturday night at 10 p.m. and we'll reschedule Saturday night's Last Man Standing for, I guess, 11:30 or something like that. We had several package deliveries today, which is one reason why I've got to unload the concrete flagstones out of the back of my pickup truck so I can set up a good solid foundation for the new plastic shed to store my cast iron cookware in big Tupperware totes. No, Carl, we don't need to buy Joe Dog a calendar and a clock. We just need to buy him health insurance. Although calendar and a clock will be much easier and much less expensive. Yep, I've got the new shed sitting on the porch. I've got shelves to go in it. Donna, I'm sure that was said with love, but we are talking about Joe Dog. If it doesn't flush, he might not know how to use it.
I had to text my coworker. I just thought about it. Tomorrow's the end of the month, so we got to turn in our mileage. Yay.
Yeah.
I need to hurry up and figure out how to get that mileage app done.
Oh, good news. Yesterday I also got a royalty check from Three Ravens, which means I've got a 2-day supply of free beer.
Nice.
It'd work. I'll take that. Yeah, everything in relation to how long to Hallowcon. I could look that up, but I've already turned that spreadsheet off. Yes, an entire $13 and I think it's 32 cents. I can't read it from here. But that means that People are still buying Abducted. So I'm gratified, especially as of March 21st. The prequel to Abducted will be released. And I will play that ad later on. I won't play it right now. Um, John gave me some creative criticism on it as it exists now,
Mm-hmm.
but I thought long and hard about that. I would have to re-edit 3 audio tracks inside the recording.
Mm-hmm.
If I put it back up on YouTube like that, they will change the URL, and a lot of people have already linked to it. So uh, it's just going to have to stand from now. I will learn from that mistake, and uh, hopefully the next stuff will be much more well balanced as to the audio. Uh, yeah, I will. I mean, as your next entry says, don't go into writing for the money. No, the only reason to be a writer is because it hurts less than not writing. I've always
Um,
maintained that writing is a mental illness voluntarily undertaken.
unless it's writing code, then not writing code is less painless.
Yeah, but writing code is really useful.
It's really useful, but it's a lot more painful.
Mm-hmm. Carl went into writing to get the women, and it worked. I remember a movie that had the line, uh, women will want to sleep with you if you write a bad book. As long as your name's on a spine of a book somewhere, you automatically become some sort of a babe magnet. I can't remember who was in the movie or which movie it was, but I'm sure one of our dedicated listeners or studio audience will figure it out
Mm-hmm.
eventually. Um, I want to say Sean Connery was in it.
Yeah, that
And
I don't know.
the younger writer was a young black gentleman that I have no idea who is, but they both seem to have advanced their acting careers until Connery retired. Um, that's what happens when you agree to do too many Highlander sequels.
Speaking of actors, did you see? Did you hear about Gene Hackman?
I did hear, and I still haven't figured out whether or not it's real. But if it is real, then there's a real mystery going on there because doesn't seem to be carbon monoxide, and I don't see any reason it would be a murder suicide and include the dog.
Right.
That's going a little bit overboard. Plus, Gene Hackman's always been pretty happy-go-lucky sort of guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Donna has news about the investigation, and it seems to be pretty weird stuff. Um, Post on it, and I'll put it in here,
Yeah.
or you and Donna can pop in, whichever you want. Um, I'm in pajama bottoms and a day-old shirt, so don't worry about your appearance.
I'm wearing retro reflective. There's a shock.
Mm. Yes, but because of your daytime occupation, you probably have a closet full of retro-reflective shirts.
I do. I
I've got
do.
I've got quite a few, and uh, I was unpacking a box that I packed up to get out of my lab when I was my last day when I was retiring. I found one of the retro-reflective vests with the reflective tape on it, which I had to wear every time I took a forklift into the warehouse.
Hmm.
Uh, and Lindsay's got one. she used to use when she went up to the church to jog around the church lot with some of the other ladies in the congregation. There's Aunt Donna. Bless you, my daughter.
Hello.
Uh, aunt, whatever the familiar relationship is.
Yeah. Um, yeah. At first they were saying carbon monoxide, but then they came back. The front door was open, so there's no way that the gas could have accumulated enough to kill them.
Okay, that lets out natural gas too.
Mhm.
Though the gas was on, it's like somebody maybe trying to cover something. She was found in her bathroom. There were some prescription pills scattered about. The dog that was killed was in the bathroom closet.
That's unusual.
He was found in the mud room. Uh, he had hit his head when he fell down. His sunglasses were on the floor. And there were two other dogs. One was outside running around, and the second dog was found by her body. Um, the idea thinking maybe the second dog was outside too and had come through the open door and found mommy on the floor. So as of now, they're not saying it's foul play, but they are saying it is suspicious and they are
Mhm.
investigating further.
Well, they are exactly right in that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Gene Hackman is a hometown boy, so all of Danville is sad and in shock that it happened this way. But yeah,
Uh, we're going to have to get you some monk's robes, Carl, because you definitely do not want to face people that often. Probably because you had to face them so often in the past. Yes, that's definitely suspicious. All right. Uh,
but yeah, I wasn't expecting you to be on, so I had to do all the shit to get ready and come in.
well, like I said in the intro, Joe Dog is unwell again, and I must have missed his messenger message by leaving for the restroom at the wrong moment. So I only had like 25, maybe 30 minutes to rearrange the schedule.
Well, I have a strict Facebook time for myself. I only go on from like 8 to maybe 9 in the morning and from 5 to 5:30 at night. But I didn't go on tonight because I was taking a nap.
Mm.
So I had not seen any of the messages.
Well, uh,
I wonder how small their house is. It sounds like they're passing it around, which is definitely happening to a bunch of my relatives here in town.
hmm
One
uh,
family member just gives it to the other.
that may be what happened with Lindsay and I this week. She is starting to believe she picked up something at church on Sunday or at the elementary school where she's teacher's helper on Mondays. And Monday was when she started feeling bad. Tuesday, she was improved, but I had started feeling bad. Yesterday, as I said earlier, I got up, I drank about half a cup of coffee and felt like I was going to be very violently ill. So I went back to bed and didn't get up until way late.
Hmm. Well, look at poor Dawn. We've
Mhm.
been to their house. Their house could fit into my living room almost. It's so small, and there's three people living in there, and all three have been bad for almost a month now.
Yeah.
Because when you can't get away from each other, that's a good thing about our castle. If one of us gets sick, you stay on your side, I'll stay on my side, and we don't
Batten
pass it
down the
back and forth.
hatches.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
like
way to
when
it.
Trey. That's like when Trey caught COVID for the first time. I basically lived down here in the basement. She got the upstairs, and the only room that we had to share at certain points was the kitchen. But it wasn't really a share. It was more of a I went up, cooked, made her plate, took my food back down.
Mm,
Yeah.
well, Trey, yes. I agree with that sentiment.
If
Lindsay and
you,
I live in a
yeah.
very small house as well. You could probably fit Dawn's house as well as mine in your living room. Um,
Let's just say they don't have 6 feet to stay away from each other. About the only thing they have is when Ted goes out to the dork cave, and he was not feeling well enough to do that.
Hmm.
yes, it was beautiful weather. There was no sign of rain. The wind was absolutely zero. It's 75 degrees outside, and I'm huddled up in bed feeling sick and can't go outside and do any damn work.
Thank you,
Make
Itzman dude.
make sure you wash the packages before you open them. Um, yeah,
And that's
but
another reason we don't share a bathroom. That and I got used to my own bathroom when I was living by myself, which made it really funny when we went. Our first house was a double wide, and my almost only prerequisite was that it had 2 bathrooms. And we went to this one place to look at them, and I told the salesman, young dude, early 20s. I was 31 at the time. It has to have 2 bathrooms. He shows this beautiful double wide and talks about the den that it has. Cool. Okay, here's one bathroom. Where's the other bathroom? Oh, it only has the one.
you're
Nope.
wasting our time.
Nope. We don't want this one.
Yep, it helps that Trey and Joe have a full bathroom upstairs and downstairs.
Hmm.
That's one disadvantage of this house that Lindsay and I live in. It's only got the one.
Mm.
Yeah, it. I would love it if I used the bathroom that exists now, and she had her own with better makeup lights and larger cabinet to store stuff in and things like that. Definitely, if we had 2 bathrooms, she'd have the large one because I'm really tired of her trying to do her makeup in the kitchen where all the lights work, and she's got more room and a mirror, uh, just a face mirror, but
Hmm.
not a full length or anything. But no,
Full length.
and
Does she wear total body makeup?
no, no, she doesn't. But she is an artist. You've seen her;
Mm.
she
Oh,
always looks good.
yes. Yes, she does. I'm just
And
saying.
if she wore total body makeup, I'd just lick it off of her. I mean, seriously.
They
Uh,
have special makeup for that.
Hmm.
they have other things that are special for that too, but we have not been that adventurous.
Yeah. We
Apparently,
have,
it does taste like plastic, so not interested in edibles that are not pharmaceutical. So,
yeah, we
uh,
we we both the two of the rooms upstairs were ensuite bedrooms, and then there's a what we call the loo that's somebody turned a little closet into just the toilet and wash basin on the first floor. And when the guy changed the attic into an apartment for his adult son, he put a full bathroom in up there, of course.
if it hadn't been for my mother being so convinced that I needed to buy my little brother's house so that he could have his own built on the far end of the farm, I could have gotten a much bigger place with a garage and a kitchen and a living room and a bathroom and a full bar and a basement that was fitted out as an apartment with a bathroom and a bar. And they even had a secret room as an attic where the lady of the house could go look through a one way mirror window and see what people in the living room are getting up to. But hey, sorry, it was that kind of household, or is, except that the husband in this situation, unfortunately, he had a heart attack way too young. He was a poet and had several books out of his poetry. Some of them were a bit racy. Some of them were, you know, classic style poetry, and
Hey,
that left the that
a
left the
lot of
two.
a lot of classic poetry is racy.
Oh, I know. If you know how to read it, um,
Mhm.
You don't have to know how to read John Donne. His poetry,
um,
woo.
well, I was actually thinking of Song of Solomon.
Mm,
Oh, that's some of the most elegant erotic poetry I've ever read. And back in the day when I was going to church, I read the whole book over and over and over again. Not just that chapter, but the whole thing, cover to cover. And I kept going. If my mom ever finds out I'm reading this, I'll never get to see another Sears catalog again. Uh,
uh, yeah, John Donne's. Uh, okay, what's the title? To my upon my mistress going to bed, or to my mistress going to bed. I forget now. It's been a while. That's one of my favorite poems. It's very, yeah.
was that the same one that wrote essays on time travel as well? Or alternate timelines? Same
I
name, but I don't know if it's the same person.
John Donne.
Sounds
I've only
right.
I've only read his poetry. I don't know. Yeah,
Um,
we almost bought Jerry Van Dyke's house. It was weird.
I rented a house. I had several roommates the first year, and we loved it because it had an extra large bar with built-in fridge and all kinds of things, and barbecue area outside, and enormous bookshelves.
Hmm.
I do mean enormous. I could not fit them through the doors of my house if I were to have stolen them. They'd be about 2 foot too tall to go through my doors. Um,
Sounds like our bookshelves. Yeah, in his basement, Jerry had put up a bar and a stage, but it was a very cheap bar. I went to kind of lean against it, and it shook, and I'm like, okay, it's not even.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not even fastened down right.
Uh, it had a towel warmer in the Jack and Jill between the master bedroom and another best bedroom. It had a row of dresser doors that filled the entire length of one room, one wall, about 4 foot high. And I'm looking at that, and I told Kyle, I says, if we did get this, we'd have to put labels on all the doors so we know where we put stuff.
Right.
But
Well,
yeah,
if the one I was living in hadn't been just a rental, um, I probably could have set up an office with a Jack and Jill bathroom between that and another bedroom, and um, I think it was two more bedrooms, but
hmm.
only one bath. Imagine six people living in that,
Uh,
uh,
no, no,
and
no.
they weren't all involved with each other. Um, but
I,
I did maintain the lease after the second year, and my guitar player buddy moved in. I let him have his pick of any bedroom he wanted except the one that I'd been living in, and we stuck it out for a year. It was fun. We did have to. One of the lady roommates had chihuahuas, and she never put any kind of flea treatment on them. So we basically just put bug bombs in her room after she moved out and nailed the door shut for about a year.
mm,
Just didn't want those things. Had a fireplace.
yeah.
We had a blizzard down here, and I actually cooked steaks in the fireplace on a fencing foil whose tip had broken off, and got compliments from everybody else about how good the steaks were. Just, hey, I don't have anything better to do. There's 2 feet of snow outside, and it's Athens, Georgia, and God only knows when we're going to be able to leave the house again. So
Yeah.
let's eat.
Jerry's house also had servants' quarters, um, but in order to get to them, you had to open one door, step into this little area, close that door in order to open the door that went back to the servants' quarters. And there was like, it had a short little hallway, and it was a complete little apartment by itself. But 7 cats and all these doors, it's like, this is not going to work too well.
No, there's always going to be one trapped somewhere.
Hmm. And then Carl looked out at the acre of lawn because this was on about four, yeah, about four lots. It was a big piece, and he's like, I don't want to have to mow that. So
Ah,
we decided, no, we don't want this one.
yep, Carl. That's why zero turn mowers are your friend as long as you don't have any hills. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I
I
love
don't
my
know.
zero turn
And
mower, but I will never take it up a hill or drive sideways on a hill
Mm,
because the center of gravity is way higher on that than regular uh, riding
the
lawnmowers.
I
size of the person also makes a difference because we have a riding lawnmower for the parks department. I can't put the thing in reverse. I got the seat all the way back, and the bars, when they come down, are right up on me. So I've got to try and suck in my gut and push the bars into me to get the thing
To
to go
back up.
backwards.
Yep.
And even then, I end up going backwards in one direction because normally I can only get one bar to go back farther than the other.
Or you wind up turning curves because you can only get one to go back far
Yeah.
enough and the other one is only partially back. I have run into this problem. Um, I've got to say, I do love my zero turn mower. Um, I don't mind having to take a push mower out and do the rest of the ditch and the verge between the actual road and the ditch. Some of the slope of that hill I can do without scaring myself. But I always stop when I get to the point of, oh, this is a bit dangerous. I think I'll back off. But it's got to the point now where instead of 3 hours with a push mower or an hour with the other riding mower, it's more like 30 minutes to mow my entire lawn with the zero turn. It doesn't have a supercharger, but it acts like it's got one.
You were talking about Jack and Jill bedroom. Uh, Most places where I've seen them, the houses only had one. My brother-in-law's house has 3 bedrooms, and they are connected by a Jack and Jill bathroom on either side of the middle bedroom. There's
That does
two of
sound
them,
like an intelligent plan.
but a very unusual one. Usually, if there's a third bedroom, there's another this regular bathroom.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Apparently somebody designed that on purpose rather than buying a commercial blueprint. Uh,
oh, his house is. I mean, ours is a labyrinth, but I think his is even a little crazier than ours.
you keep going upstairs looking for David Bowie?
Oh, I always do that when I go up any stairs.
Especially in a labyrinth. Uh, Now we've got about 1.25 acres, but half of it is in woods. So my yard's about half an acre. I've reclaimed some of it from the woods several times, but fallen tree branches and other windstorm related incidents have kept me from keeping it reclaimed. Did have one grandson, I have forgiven him. Went out and chopped down one of my dogwood trees.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, but they sprout up wild around here. Um, Unfortunately, they're very delicate. Um, they're not going to come back if they get cut down. They're not easily transplanted, but if you can landscape around them and keep from injuring the bark, they will grow up to be very, very beautiful trees and um, a bit twisted, which fits in with my personality. But, you know, these things, they happen. Uh, oh, there was one reason why I was glad in the end that I didn't buy the other house a couple of driveways down when I had the chance. My mom insisted to buy my little brother's to help him build his house. Had a tornado, it went right through their backyard, hopped the house, tore down their picnic enclosure, which was, metal frame, metal roof, then hopped across the street, ripped the top out of a pine tree that I can see from my front porch. Not a pine tree, an oak tree. Um, just corkscrewed the top of it off and then hopped back up in the air and went away. That's the closest call we've ever had. Uh,
Witzman, dude, it's been 20 years. Quit focusing on that, on Jerry's bar.
it was unsuitable, apparently. Did not meet Donna's standards. Don't mourn something that you would not have been allowed to enjoy if you'd bought it anyway.
Oh, we would have enjoyed that. He's the one that's like, I don't want to mow that lawn. The house was situated at the back of the lot. I don't even remember if it had a backyard because they were at the top of a hill, which is probably a good thing because that line of hill across there is not stable. It wouldn't have been too long before it eroded away enough to be under the house.
mm, I kind of like the trackless forest that's behind my house. I don't go too far down into it. I know where the property line is. I don't go any further. Um, the neighbor that does own that property, well, she's been known to walk outside and just start shooting firearms at random, and she can't be responsible for pets whatsoever. Every cat we've had has escaped from her barn and decided we were decent people. They were going to adopt us. Um,
Cat to do that.
well, we had a call from a neighbor today whose cat evidently, and this is really bad. I hope the cat recovers. Evidently got attacked by a wild dog or a coyote and is in a really bad way right now. And
Mm.
I hate that. I really hate that. But uh, as long as the lady doesn't sincerely believe it was one of our cats that did it, and the vet was the one that said, no, this was a dog or a coyote. This was not two cats fighting. Um, which reminds me of an old joke. I can't tell it this time of night. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, uh, Terry Pratchett, for the story of One Man Bucket. His brother was named 5 minutes earlier, and he'd kill for the name Two Dogs Fighting. Y'all can put the clues together. You can just read Terry Pratchett. It's a harmless pastime. Mm, mm.
Oh,
We have gone for 41 minutes now. I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to play the ad for my next book, which is in the pre order stage for Kindle on Amazon. And it will be released to Kindle and hopefully other formats on March 21st.
But
So,
you you will have physical copies by the time Hallowcon come around, right?
if the publisher went for physical copies, yes, I damn sure will. I want a physical copy myself. I want my own book on my own bookshelf,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
even if it has to be paperback. Um, and I'm running out of bookshelves to put my books on, and I've still got another one that hasn't even been processed and edited yet, but it has been accepted. Don't know when that one's coming out. I do hope my publisher is not going, oh, we can't release things too soon. We don't want to dilute your brand. I ain't got a brand. Put the book out so I can get this depression over with and get on to the next one. Ah,
Tell them
and
your fans are waiting for the other one.
Mm-hmm.
some of my fans really would appreciate both of them. The one that is about to come out and the next, although the next one is almost 80,000 words. Because after I finished that story, I realized I had written half of a murder mystery in it, and I needed to add a bit more to solve the mystery. My editor, whoever they may eventually be, is going to have a field day with the language, and it went all industrial during the solution of the murder mystery. And you never know whether the murderer decided to jump out a window or one of the heroes, under the cover of darkness, picked them up and threw them out the window. Because even Tom Darby didn't think to look, and he was there as a 20 to 30-year-old reincarnation of himself, which lets you know it ties into abducted as well. Uh, Tom Darby was not planned to be there. He just showed up and took over like he always does, like a bad penny or a semi retired superhero. He just keeps coming back. But in any case, this is his early life from when he was underage and the Korean War just started, and he ran away from the family farm in West Virginia to enlist. There was a lucky accident where the courthouse burned down and there were no birth certificates left to prove that he was underage. He got into the Army, then got into the Army Air Corps, and they discovered his talent for flying fighter planes and attracted the attention of various alphabet agencies. And the rest of the book is him trying to stay alive after all the shit the alphabet agencies try and get him into. I've got to say, the chapter set in Jamaica is one of my favorite ones, but it is quite violent and bloodthirsty. You just got to read this. You're not going to believe it was me. Then again, maybe you will. In the early days of the Korean War, an underage boy ran away from his family's farm in West Virginia to join the Army. He quickly transferred to the Air Corps and became a fighter pilot. Somehow, he became useful to several alphabet agencies, so he was recruited to help them during the Cold War. Eventually, he got tired of being a spy and tried to retire. Fate had other ideas. These are some of the early adventures of Captain Tom Darby of the U.S. Army Air Corps. From before that fateful night, he rode his motorcycle around a curve too fast on a back road in rural Georgia and accidentally began a new life entirely. I kind of like that. It leads up to abducted without being too obvious. John said that I should remix the audio and make the music quieter and the voiceover louder. And I looked into it, but too many people have already linked to that particular video, and YouTube would give it an entirely new URL. So I'd be getting messages. Why did you delete that? And I'd have to message them all back individually and go, no, here's the new link. Somebody complained. So these things, they happen.
Mm-hmm.
No, I will simply take that as a teachable experience and learn to mix my voiceovers louder and the music just a hair quieter. Although in the headphones I'm using now and in the headphones I use to mix my music albums, it sounds perfectly fine. Everything's clear. It may just be that John has crappy stereo speakers attached to his computer. I don't know.
It may be because it sounds all right to me. I can hear the voiceover perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one reason why I use the deluxe headphones to mix stuff with. So I'm hoping it's just John's speakers aren't up to snuff, and it's not a serious concern for anybody else. March 21st. It's available for pre-order on Amazon right now. Let me drop the code in if I can remember which line to copy.
You should have had all this stuff waiting.
Why?
Because it's your show and you should have all this shit waiting so you can advertise it.
I'm not used to advertising myself.
Hashtag always promote.
I know. It's still, It feels like my ego's got too big for me. There we go. I don't know if it'll actually come out as a link. I can't click on it myself. Um, think I've got a wrench in my own damn channel. Certainly hope so. If not, one of my friends will correct that. So,
Okay, it's not on the Stupid O'Clock channel.
no, it shouldn't be. It should be on the Last Man Standing channel.
Okay, just as long as you know.
But, well, I mean, Stupid O'Clock is not being broadcast right now, so it's been rescheduled for Saturday.
No.
You're on
The
the
last
Stupid
man
O'Clock channel?
standing on the Stupid O'Clock channel.
Okay.
I
Oh,
clicked on them.
now I understand.
Yeah, I clicked on the wrong link, but when I saw Trey in there, I thought I'll just stay in here.
Hey, it's quite all right. This was damage control tonight. I'm not seeing anybody's messages but mine in the Last Man Standing channel, and I'm seeing everybody's messages here. So we may be just broadcasting under the Last Man Standing brand on Stupid O'Clock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the faintest idea. Which I hope does not give Joe Dog problems for Saturday night, because that's what I rescheduled tonight's Stupid O'Clock. I'm sure he will figure it out. He's got brains enough to pour piss out of a boot when the instructions are written on a heel.
Yeah, the only thing is, will he read the instructions?
Well, once he gets started wet feet, yeah. It's kind of implied in the physics. Oh, I'm going to get raked over the coals next time he's on a show with me. Oh, well. What a while.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, say my wife pushed you up to it. It'll be fine.
I don't think I want to implicate Trey in any of my crimes. I like her too much.
She's all right for her first wife.
We'll say Zach put us up to it.
There we go.
Speaking of Zach, I wonder where the little rocket man is tonight.
Probably wishing that Dawn would hurry up and open those 2 boxes his rocket is trapped in.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Carl told you, Donna, but I did send the QR code over to him.
Thank you very much.
She is still up and watching.
Hey. I wouldn't blame her if the sound of my voice put her to sleep.
No, she's probably in her chair right about there. And probably has 2 cats on top of her, I'm guessing.
Or a lap full of knitting and the cats are chasing the little swirly butterfly toy.
Hobo doesn't really care about the little swirling butterfly on top. He just likes the little feather thing that pops out from the sides.
Oh, okay.
Because he will go damn near go elbow deep, shoving his paw inside there trying to get it thing.
I'm going to get that feather. I hate that more than the red dot. I'm going to get that feather.
Oh, our cats. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, funny thing is they neither one of them cares for the red dot. You can shine it on the ground. They just kind of look at it like, whatever.
You tried it on a wall?
we've tried it on the wall,
Oh.
tried it on the just no interest in it whatsoever, and but Hobo, that toy is almost like his white noise machine sometimes, we think,
Mm-hmm.
because he'll just walk up, bap it to get it to turn on, and then turn and walk away.
Our cats have a new toy. It's one of those things where the ball is inside it, but it's shaped like that, around almost like a racetrack, and the ball has a little red flashing light on it.
Oh,
Kiddo didn't like it, wouldn't play with it, so April gave it to us. Had it maybe a week. The little ball has been taken out and is gone.
I'm sure Carl will find it in the fullness of
Mm.
time. In the chair, no cats, there is crochet. Well, you know.
The Myers had a holiday little thing. It looked like a Christmas tree, and it too had a little ball in it that there was little holes the cats could kind of bap the ball around. There was a nice little scratching thing in the center. It took 3 days for them to get the ball out of there. We put the ball back in, taped it up, and they haven't gotten it back out since, and they liked it so much that we bought them a second one.
Lindsay made one like that. Excuse me. It is entirely homemade out of a Tupperware we didn't need. She was very careful to cut the holes in it so the balls cannot physically be pulled out, no matter how determined the cat is. They'd have to figure out a way to rip the lid off to get to them. And
It could happen.
I am well aware of the versatility of cats, and I'm going, if y'all had thumbs, I'd lock my office all the time because I don't want you subscribing to only cats with my credit card number.
Yeah, we have another toy. Back when they had Himoni, that she brought with him because he loved it. No, he won't play with it now, but it's got 2 rows with the ball and then a top on it. And he wouldn't play with it by himself, but when Calvin and Strip started playing with it, then all 3 of them played with it, batting it back and forth.
Mm.
But one of them figured out how to take that top off and get the ball out. Fortunately, the ball was right there. Carl put it back together. But I'm thinking whoever figured out how to open that one is the one who figured out how to open the new toy.
Mm-mm. One of the best cat toys I have ever found. I was putting peel and stick tile down in the living room and kitchen, and I'd just take the paper backing off and wad it up into a ball and throw it off to the side and carefully place the tile as if it actually had glue on it that was sufficient to keep it stuck there. And the cats would just go chase the ball of paper and knock it around for hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, y'all sure you're not part dog? I mean, chasing balls and whatnot? I mean,
Oh,
okay. Here's
cats-
another sheet of paper. Roll them.
Our cats love balls, especially Calvin. He will fetch them to you so you can throw them just like a dog. But they've got crinkle balls. So do you know what bullseye candy is? The
Yep.
caramel with it. Okay. They've also got a chocolate with a chocolate filling in. And they're wrapped up in their little crinkly plastic. I had a couple of them sitting on my desk, and one of them disappeared. And the cats had them batting it back and forth because of the little crinkly sounds that it made. Like it's, yeah. Fortunately, they didn't get through to the chocolate, but it's like, okay, I now have a box to put my extra candy in.
with latching lids, because Joe Dog does have one of those cats with thumbs. We may not be safe for very much longer if that thing can breed. Uh,
There's a lot more cats showing up with thumbs.
it's a useful mutation. I would not
Unfortunately.
be a bit surprised if evolution is moving in that direction. That way, they can work the can opener and don't need us.
They'd still bother us because, after all, servants.
Hmm.
Hey. Um, I went to the litter box one time. It hasn't been cleaned yet. Get on your duty here, um,
Oh shoot, poor
pet.
Calvin went into the litter box in the cat room, and I was looking for strips to give him his soft food. And I look in the cat room, and there's poor Calvin trying to do his thing, and Hermione is in there with his nose almost up Calvin's butt. Like, dude, privacy, please.
Yep. I have that problem with the dog. Every time I don't close the door to the bathroom, about the time I get settled on the toilet seat, the dog is in there going, Alpha male, I can smell that. And I'm going, no. Will you please go away and let me do what I've got to do? I don't bother you when you're on your litter box, do I? And then I remember, no, sometimes I do have to follow her out into the yard and make sure she actually does something. Mm.
Yeah, just returning the favor.
Well, it's not like I'm a voyeur. It's just I don't want to have to get up at 3 a.m. because she forgot to do something. And I don't want Lindsay to wake up once she goes to sleep because if the queen awakens prematurely, a bad day is in the offing.
Yeah, Richmond dude knows about that.
Yes.
I don't even have a door on the bathroom in my office. For one thing, you'd have to come into my office and around a corner in order to see in. But I needed to put a cabinet in that corner, and the door was in the way. So it's like, let's just take the door off. So I gotta just accept the cats coming in. Mom, are you okay? I'll sit here and watch, make sure nobody comes get you.
Yes. It's like they're going to guard you while you're helplessly involved in bodily functions. Um,
Good night,
I
dear.
use, well, good night, Trey.
Night Trey.
I
Yeah.
once had a rental house. The master bedroom had a ensuite bathroom, and instead of a door, it had the cowboy western middle of the doorway only flopping doors,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and um, I did not have a pet at that time, but I could go around to the behind the wall where the toilet was hidden because there was a bathtub and shower right opposite the sink, and then there was a dividing wall, and then there was the uh, the toilet, and I had a full closet, and I had a beautiful antique wardrobe cabinet that I had bought, and that was something my first wife deprived me of because it was worth money, and she didn't feel like I was allowed to have any beautiful things. Either she sold them or she broke them. Um, anyway, I wasn't even with her at this time. I was just by myself. And I'm sitting back there and I go, okay, uh, is there some sort of security measure I could take to protect myself with those one third of a doors into the bathroom? I go, no, not unless I'm going to sling a holster on the damn toilet, uh, which was impractical because rust is real. But,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I did have a cat there. I did have a cat there. I remember she was unfixed and going through heat a couple of times while I was still living there because I was there for several years. Place had a full basement set up with uh, sound deafening tiles and everything. Evidently, other people who lived there had set it up as a rehearsal hall for a rock band. And that was when I was in the different garage bands, set up stuff down there. Everything was fine. Torrential rainstorm, water started coming up out of the storm drain in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I had to tote amplifiers and instruments and all kinds of stuff up out of the basement and put it in an empty bedroom. And I just go, whoever built the basement and master bedroom attachment to this old house did not waterproof anything at all. We had water coming through the concrete blocks. We had water coming up from the drain pipes. At, at one time, in a really bad storm, the aftermath was about 2 feet of water in this basement waiting to
Ooh,
drain out. Thankfully, none of the musical equipment got damaged. I got
that's
damaged a little
good.
bit toting that heavy stuff back up out of the stairs to the basement, but
Oh,
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Learning experience. Everything in that era of my life was a learning experience. I wish I could learn so easily now, but I'm kind of set in my ways. Uh,
Yeah. We had water problems in our basement the first few years because some idiot had planted a magnolia tree next to the house. And that was the side where the lines went out to the we think the alleyway to the east of us. And then one day Carl's like, "Can we cut it down?" And I'm like, "Yes." Never put a magnolia tree next to your house or next to your driveway because when those flowers fall, they are slick as hell.
and never put a willow tree or a magnolia tree anywhere near your water line or
Mhm.
septic tank lines. Otherwise, those are going to have to be dug up and replaced real soon. If you're going to have willow trees, find a creek at the back of your property, hundreds of yards away, because the roots go to water naturally.
Mhm.
Magnolia trees, I'm just looking at them and I'm going, they're very photogenic, but the leaves will tear up lawnmower blades. The flower buds, they're pretty. The flowers are really pretty. I mean, they look really nice in some play or movie with the flowers cut off and floating in a bowl of water, but it's not worth the plumbing hassle.
That's plumbing. Well, and like I say, they're slippery. They're a health hazard. They're dangerous. Plus, after we got the tree down, the cat room, which it really was, it used to be an old porch. It got enclosed as a sunroom. Now it's really a sunroom because now the sun can come in. I did not realize how dark a room that was 2 walls of windows was until that tree was gone.
Mm-hmm. And Carl, well, I'm not going to say Carl is joining Trey, but he is pursuing the same activity. Sleepy time.
I hope Joe's
Uh,
okay.
yeah, he's heading down the hall. Down the hallway, and
Well,
usually for some reason from this side of the house to the right. But, I might have been an architecture student, but I don't understand why the bathroom is always on that side of the hallway. Um,
hmm,
well, it depends on which way you're coming, doesn't it?
yeah.
And how long the hallway is.
We'll have to have Carl look up that video. People don't understand how big our house is.
I
And
do. I've seen photographs.
well, and people who have seen it from the outside come inside and go, it's even bigger on the inside. Yeah, we have a TARDIS.
Who doesn't?
But
Uh,
they're like, why don't you just
look over my shoulder.
talk to each other, when you're in your offices? And I'm like, that's 4 hallways away. Carl claims 5 because he claims the dog ear is 2 hallways, and I just say it's a dog leg. But he took a video one time walking from his office to my office to show people, yeah, it really is that far.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
we called it Labyrinth earlier. Let's just put it this way. My furnace man was very proud of himself when after 3 years of coming and doing our furnace, checking on it or working on it, he finally figured out how to get to the furnace on the 3rd floor by himself. Night.
good night, Carl.
Dan says good night again. He waved.
He didn't come and kiss you.
He doesn't do that when it's on recording.
Oh, only on Green Room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wondered because I was being stared at by a cat sitting on one of the newels out there, and then all of a sudden they were gone. And then Carl reported that he was being herded to death. I thought, okay, that's where he went.
Yeah, they know which one of you is the softy.
Mm-hmm.
Only reason I am not being bothered by cats is when I start recording, I close the door to the office. And while I was running the credits, one of the cats jumped down out of the closet behind me and, and came up here going, well, I'm not hungry, but I want to bother you for a little bit. And I'm going, no, honey, no. Let me lead you to the door and let you out and hope the dog doesn't come in. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any food back here, so there's no reason for the dog to come in. And I've gotten in the habit of as soon as one of the cats finishes with the little food bowl I've got back here to supplement what Lindsay gives them, which is exactly what they need for their weight and their age and their diet, because that's what the veterinarian told us, they'll wander on back out. And
Yeah.
I have to pick that up immediately to make sure the dog doesn't come here and go, ooh, illegal snacks.
Yeah, I have a friend who, after acquiring his 5th cat, that wandered into his yard and eventually into his house, as they do.
As they
Why this
do.
happens? And I'm said, because you're like my husband. You've got sucker written in cat ease across your forehead. And it's in cat ease because only cats can read it and only they can see it.
That's what that little M mark is on their forehead. That's their psychic ability to read when somebody's so soft-hearted they can't refuse them anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the reason we got so many cats is we had a couple of strays come up in the backyard. I would pet them in the backyard, but I
Mm-hmm.
told Lindsay, never let them into the house. I know how I am. This is part of the Hollifield genetics. A pet is forever until you outlive them. And one day I was in the lazy boy. I was sound asleep. I woke up. I had both of them in my lap, and I go, I'm doomed. And events eventuated, and now we have one of the surviving mama cats who spends most of her time asleep on the bed, but she'll wander in here and go, Mama Lindsay fed me 30 minutes ago and I'm hungry again, and she'll eat 3 bites of food from the bowl I got back here, and then she'll go get back on the bed and sleep for another 6 hours. And the rest of them are about 16. Um, and some of them are not in the best of health, but not because we don't take care of them. It's just because
Mm-hmm.
16 is rather elderly for a
For a
cat.
cat, yes. Yes. Usually, an inside cat, though, totally inside cat, can get to be as old as 20.
Hmm.
And that, yeah. Considering that the Witzman dude was not a cat person when we met, he didn't dislike
Didn't have a
cats.
choice about becoming one, did he?
No, because I had my Siamese, and I'm like it's a pair, and then I come home from work one evening, and she's in his arms, laying back like a little baby. And this was a cat that did not like men. She only tolerated my dad because she liked my mom so much. But from the start, she loved Carl. This is how I knew I was doomed to have him around forever.
Carl, not the cat. Yes. Uh,
Yeah, and I mean, when we had seven, people would look, and people would find out, and they'd look at me, and I'm like, not my fault. I'm only responsible for three of them. The other four, he brought into the house.
well, uh, I'm responsible for most of them. We have had a few feral cats come out of the woods and go, Yep, you smell like good people. We're going to live here now. And one of them, I've only been able to feed him without him running away one time so far since he first walked up in the yard. Um, and the other one jumps up on the bed and sleeps between my ankles. God help him if I roll over. But yeah, like I said earlier tonight, the neighbor lady's cat got attacked, and she called Lindsay, and Lindsay got just absolutely paranoid that it was our cat. And then come to find out, after 45 minutes, neighbor lady got to the point and said, No, the vet says this was a dog or a coyote attack. It was not from a cat. I'm hoping that their cat recovers.
So
I
why did
really
she?
am.
So why did she call you guys to warn you about the coyotes?
Apparently, and that's not a situation I was unfamiliar with, because
Hmm.
I've seen them out there. Um, back when we had little bitty dogs, they went off one night, and it was not their bark about, oh, one of the neighbors' cows got out again, and they're knocking over your rock wall. It was something totally unfamiliar. So I grabbed my 45 and my headlamp and turned on the red light and walked out to the edge of the woods behind my storage shed and leaned up against a tree. And I could see eyeballs about 2.5, 3 feet above the ground on down the hill further into the woods. And I'm going, great, there's 6 of them. I better have learned to be a good shot for my dad if they decide to come this way.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, the wind shifted from blowing in my face to behind my back, and they got my scent, and they just looked up, looked straight at me, and they go, um, we'll be moving along here, and ran off into the woods. We've got deer that come up. The neighbor lady who suffered from the tornado had bear tracks all around her koi pond and no koi left. Um, and I know for a fact there are um, feral dogs and feral hogs roaming the woods behind the house. That's one reason why I'm kind of glad that I put that chain link fence up.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. A few years ago, Rantoul, a city about 30 minutes northwest of us, had problems with coy dogs.
hmm
And if it got so bad to the point where um, Mike and Julie made sure that they were in the house before dusk
Yeah.
because they were attacking humans as well as any other animal in the area.
Now we have had Lindsay has called me to the kitchen door, the back door of the house in the kitchen to look out. She had 3 cats that she was feeding outside the chain link fence, and she goes, "Look, look, they're not even reacting to it." And there was a raccoon as tall as a 5-year-old child
Mm-hmm.
eating out of one of the cat bowls, standing up every few minutes and doing a full danger scan, and then going back to the cat food. And the cats are going, uh, yeah, he's kind of hefty, but it's cousin Jed. It's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, well, raccoons won't attack a cat.
no, and we've had possums climb the fence when we had the big gravity feeders for the cats outside, and
Mm.
they'd climb the fence and eat all the cat food, and then go off in the woods and get sick because they stuck themselves beyond their limit.
That's
Uh,
called Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
yep, and we've had. There was one time Lindsay went back to get some potting soil out of a bag that I'd left laying for a while, and she stuck the trowel in. And all of a sudden, the far side of the potting soil bag that had been sitting there for about a year and a half, burst open, and about a half a dozen little baby armadillos ran out, plus their mother. I'm going, those things are cute, but don't touch them because, they can carry leprosy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Um, when Kiddo was still out here after she had her kittens, Carl went out one time to feed her, and at first he thought she was being followed by one of her kittens, and he looked again, and a possum was following her, and he's like, "Okay, this is not the time to bring Kiddo inside."
no, it is the time to bring kiddo inside, just not the possum. Um,
Yeah, it's like our back door does not always It has one of those auto things on it that's supposed to pull it shut,
Mhm.
The air
but it's,
cylinder things.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
broken. So you can't just let the door shut on its own. You have to actually pull it shut, which we have to keep reminding people of. Pull the door shut. We do not want to go out and find a possum or something in our back porch.
Yeah, I'm going to have to build us a back porch here sooner or later. Um, I'll have to enclose it. I'll have to put windows in it. Putting windows in it will raise my property taxes, but um, existing raises my property taxes. Um, and we're going to just use it as an airlock, basically. Um, a place to open the kitchen door, let the dog run to the back door of the porch, close the back door of the house so nothing can run in, then let the dog out, let the cats come in and eat, which I'm sure because they've been eating on my shelves for my barbecue pergola now, and I'm kind of worried about that when I start using the cast iron stove. That
Mm-hmm.
one of them's going to jump up on the stove and burn their feet
Mm-hmm.
really badly, and that would make me extremely guilty, or at least feel extremely guilty, because they've got about as much sense as a ping pong ball
Mm-hmm.
and almost as many brain cells. Uh, I was telling Joe earlier, I don't think it's just orange cats that have only one shared brain cell. I think it's all cats because they really don't stop and think things through before they try them the first time.
I think they're idiot savants. You
Well,
know.
mm,
Good, Joe.
things are going to get interesting outside our house because we put bird feed back in the bird feeders.
Our
So I imagine.
cats, our cats have no interest in the birds outside, but they love Carl putting birds on his monitor.
Mm. Um, there was one time when Lindsay's oldest daughter stayed with us for a couple of months, and she had an Akita. And I'm going, all right, if it ever snows here, I'm going to build a dog sled, and this dog is going to tow my ass to work. Because you could just, it would take two people with independent leashes to walk him. If he ever got excited about something, you'd be sliding down through the yard and probably across concrete because he was chasing something and ain't no way you can keep your feet. But there was one day he came back in the house. Don't ask me why I consented to have an Akita as a house dog. Not my circus, not my monkeys.
Same
But
reason we had a Saint Bernard as a house dog one time.
hmm but he was acting sick, and all of a sudden he threw up an entire chicken.
Oh,
We don't have chickens. He had attacked and eaten an entire chicken, not a little one, a big one. I'm going, no wonder I don't see the damn pheasant anymore. It's too smart to stick around. Besides, I know how good pheasant tastes, so
Mm.
he was in danger not from the dog, but from me too. That's a nice part of
Yeah.
a Sunday dinner as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I miss from being on the farm.
Yeah, that was exactly it. Back up in East Tennessee. Um, we go fishing. Uh, my dad, my uncle, and my cousin would take me out hunting. I learned a lot of harsh realities about living off the land.
Mhm.
Uh, and it greatly improved the variety of the diet of the entire assembled clan on Sundays after church. Uh, my granny would start cooking something. Her sister would start cooking something before church. Her other sister would start cooking something before church. And when we all got back, it was an impressive spread. But then we'd come home, there'd be uh, pheasant, quail, squirrel, rabbit, um fish, store bought turkey, ham that was up and running the day before that we got that from the next door neighbor. They also gave us chickens as well that were up and running the day before, and you just you have to adjust to these particular facts of life. Uh, you can't afford to buy everything from a grocery store. You'll starve, especially if your family is 30 to 60 people coming over for one dinner
Mhm.
at least one day a week, if not three. Um, my mom's side of the family, there's like 37 different recipes for potato salad. Um, I like my mama's best, but there's nothing wrong with my other aunt's and my granny's other granny's recipe. Um, but no, there were it was the 50s and 60s, and money was scarce, and food was plentiful if you're willing to leave the house and bring some home. Um, didn't have to go to the grocery store for much anything.
Mhm.
Oh, evidently, which one is this? Okay, Violet, one of my tabby cats, has gotten annoying, has been shoved into the office to be fed, uh, which means Lindsay got woken up, and I probably should stay up late tonight so that she's very well asleep before I try and go to bed.
Oh, but
Yes,
you were
Violet.
talking about having food there. My mom once won $100 gift certificate to this little bitty grocery store, and of course, most people do that. They would go straight to the meat department, right? No,
Occasionally.
her cart was filled up with staples. I remember it because I not only got a carton of Quick, I got a carton of strawberry Quick too.
Oh, yeah.
And while they're doing this, the grocery man's like, "How come you didn't get any meat?" And it's like, "We raise cows and hogs and chickens, and we live out in the country where we can hunt squirrels and etc. We don't need any meat. We need these staple stuff."
Really. Um,
And I needed my Quick.
quickly. Uh, oh, yeah. Um, it
Well,
was a
you.
very influential time in my life back then. I learned a
Mhm.
lot. Some of it's going to show up on the cooking show. Um, some of it's going to be stuff I learned from people on the internet. Not all of them are from the US. I've got probably 3 cubic feet of cookbooks. And my wife is going, I hope you don't expect me to read these. I'm going, no, honey, these are for me. Uh, And that was before I even thought about trying to video myself cooking something.
Hmm.
I'm still pissed off that the oyster stew recipe. I hit every time I wanted to record, I hit the pause button, and every time I wanted to pause, I hit the record button. I've got to learn how to use that camera. It is brand new. It's not as intuitive as the last couple of camcorders that I had. But yes, Violet.
Well, I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to say that I was fond of quick, but I don't know whether it's bad or good that when I would get a frozen hot chocolate from Dairy Queen, I could tell that they used Nestle's Quick as
I
part of
don't
the
think
chocolate.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Um, there were a couple of British guys that went to a Tex-Mex restaurant, and they were served mole for the first time.
Mm.
And one of them goes, "This has got actual chocolate in it, and I think it's this brand whatsoever." And they waited till the waiter came back, and then they asked him, and he goes, "Yeah, that's exactly what we put into it, um, along with lots of other things, because you can't have Tex-Mex without cayenne peppers and things." Um,
Well, I did a little experiment this week.
mm,
I was thinking fondly of my mother's roast with potatoes and carrots and onions. And the last time I tried anything like that, potatoes and carrots did not get cooked. So I bought a roast. I bought canned potatoes and okay, they were in a jar. They weren't canned, but little pearl onions. Those
yeah,
turned out well. It was not the roast I remember. And now I'm thinking, okay, I saw several different kinds of things that was at marked as a roast, and I went for the cheapest one.
hmm
So, what kind of roast should I look for next time I want to do that?
I would say um, if you got the money, the shoulder roast or the flank, but that's a little bit more difficult because it's a difficult cut to get a hold of. The one you probably got was the rump roast,
I think so. I mean, it was
and
good, but it just wasn't the roast I remember from when Mom fixed it.
yeah, now, raising cows, you probably got the best cuts.
That too.
Yep,
And there for many years we butchered our own.
yeah. So naturally, you would get the best cuts, and the ones that were less desirable
Got made
sold
into
off to the
hamburger.
neighbors, or yeah,
Oh
it
no,
got made
we
into hamburger. Um,
are you kidding? When we were on the farm, even though the boys were kind of out of the house, Mom never knew when she was cooking whether it was going to be just the three of us or whether it's going to be 10 or 12 of us. So no, we didn't give anything away or sell anything.
yeah,
It was really hard when we moved off the farm and trying to cook for just the three of us, which is probably why I hate leftovers to this day.
yeah. There's always a bunch. If you're cooking for 10 and only three ever show up, it's kind of hard to adjust because you got in the habit of cooking for a large family
And
or
we're talking
neighbors or family friends.
and we're talking about farm boys who each guy could eat what probably three city boys would eat.
Exactly. Um, oh God, Lindsay'd kill me. Lindsay would seriously kill me. But I remember my grandmother's recipe for rabbit and dumplings.
Ooh, rabbit's good eating.
I know, but they're not exactly healthy for people. You can't eat that exclusively. You've got to vary it with
Well, you,
something else. They rabbits lack a vital enzyme, I do believe, that humans need to successfully digest everything and get any food value out of it. They just taste real good.
well, that's why you got to have squirrels and groundhog too. So,
I don't know about groundhog now. Um,
it's greasy, but it's good.
I've heard the same thing about possums.
But
Now
you should.
I do draw the line at raccoons because I'm not going to eat anything that has hands.
Yeah, don't think we've ever done that. But then we haven't had a lot of raccoons around where we lived on the farm. But when Carl and I were first married, we lived on the edge of town, and right next to us was a pasture, and there was a groundhog, and this groundhog was huge. This sucker must have weighed good 40, 50 pounds. And my dad would come over to our house, and he would just salivate. He's like, "You gotta get that thing, that groundhog, come over onto your property so I can kill it and we can eat." And Carl was just, oh, poor city boy. He was just aghast at just the idea of eating.
Them's good eating.
That's what I told him. You throw a little bacon in there, it soaks up the grease, it makes the wild taste kind of go away. Good.
Sweet potatoes work as well.
And,
Or so I've been told. I do not have first-hand experience with
well,
that.
regular potatoes don't do too badly with it.
Um, Lindsay found out there's a special variety of potatoes that work best for potato salad.
Mm.
I had got some fancy ones just to put in soup,
Mm-hmm.
and she used those up so that I didn't neglect to cook and let them go bad. And they were exactly the wrong type for potato salad.
Ooh.
Yeah, it tasted fine. It just didn't, the presentation wasn't there. It didn't look like potato salad. It tasted exactly like potato salad, but it didn't look like it enough for her to go, I can't take this to the church. It don't look right. And I'm going, well, honey, um, I know a little bit, but I don't know everything. We'll have to Google this one. And then there's a certain variety of potatoes. It's best for French fries and not much else.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain type that's best for jacket
Baking.
potatoes, baked potatoes, and there's just so many different varieties of potatoes. And I bought the fancy ones. They were these little miniature potatoes of different colors.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were actually purple inside. I'm going,
I've seen those.
those are from Peru. I know enough anthropology to know this one. Uh, that's not an American potato. That's an imported potato. And since Peru is one of the places that thrived on different varieties of potatoes, I felt certain that my guess was correct. Oh, now she is just laying in front of the heater waiting for it to kick on again,
Mm-hmm.
ignoring the food entirely.
Had a
Uh,
little nosh.
just a very little. She's already been fed 3 times today. I think it was probably the German Shepherd rolled over and tried to take her spot on the bed.
Oh, you want to talk? Last Friday, I had an early morning doctor's appointment, and we had to be there at 9:30. And Carl's like, "Are we going to feed the cats before we leave?" And I'm like, "No, because then they'll expect to get fed this early every day. They're
Mm-hmm.
just going to have to wait till we get home." So went to my doctor's appointment, uh, stopped to pick up some scripts, stopped him at the grocery store, picked up some stuff, did a little Munzie run, got home probably about 1 o'clock. Not happy kitties. But on the other hand, sometimes we feed them and they're like, I don't think I'm going to eat right now. Every one of them, including Strips, who doesn't usually like soft food, every one of them clean their bowls.
Clean plate club.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
we need to do this
Oh,
more often.
and now she wants back out.
hmm
Uh,
I'm
all
finished in
right.
here, Daddy. Let me out.
Yep. The heater's not on. It's 'cause it's already 80 fucking degrees in here, honey. Um, no, the heater's not going to come on till the middle of the night. The door is open. Now, which one is this? Oh, this is Grandma Cat, which is weird because she didn't come in here making a bunch of noise like she usually does, demanding to be fed. Of course, she didn't eat but about 3 bites. All right, all right. If you'll stop being a tripping hazard, I will take 3 steps and open the door. That song is very versatile. Uh,
Yeah, she had 3 bites. That was her kitty tribute.
The funny thing is, he said that, and the first thing I thought was, "Give me 3 steps." Oh,
well, I mean, that's the reason I originated the joke line for when I needed to go to the beer fridge because it's the same distance. Don't knock anything off the pile of crap in your office. Please, you'll be picking up shit off the floor for the next 3 days. Uh,
Been there, done that.
yeah, well, as soon as I get the barbecue grill set up the way I want it, and the new plastic shed and the shelf inside the shed, I've already got like 3 large Tupperware totes full of cast iron, and no, I can't pull that out without causing an avalanche. Behind my chair is a toolbox with a Dutch oven sitting on it. And I was going to pull out the Dutch oven and show it to you, but you'd probably wind up calling 911 because it would appear that I got buried by debris that is sitting on top of the Dutch oven. Um,
Wouldn't be the first time I called 911 because of a friend online.
now, I've got brand new stereo speakers I have yet to install. I've got bookshelves up near the ceiling that I've got to redo the mounting brackets for so that they don't droop down. And when I crank up the stereo, let stuff slide. Um, I've got those 3 totes, which is going to make a tremendous amount of extra floor space in the storage room that used to be the guest bedroom. Um, we're still downsizing the steampunk costumes because we don't go to steampunk events or conventions anymore because of a loose stare.
Yeah. Is there going to be another hat for me to buy next Hallowcon?
She may not have her table at
Mm.
Hallowcon. It will be fall.
Uh-huh.
The lady that she used to get to come and feed the cats has finally got her teaching certificate, degree, whichever it is, and will be a school teacher.
Oh, okay.
So the cats may need to be looked after, and there's too many of them to
Take
be able to
anywhere.
afford. Yeah, we can't afford to put them in a kennel. There's it'd be like Noah's Ark. Uh, okay, stand by. We got 3 more loads. Uh, I couldn't even afford enough cat carriers to do that. Um, the the dog will have to go to the kennel. Lindsay is on staff for the consuite at the convention in late June, early July. So that little girl will be able to come over and feed the cats then, but not after school starts.
Oh,
So we do not know. We do not know.
oh man.
Yeah, and she's really sad about that because she's been stocking up on stuff to take.
Mm-hmm.
She's got her table planned out, everything, and I'm going, hmm, if you don't go, people might have a low opinion of me because I didn't move heaven and earth to make it possible for you. But I can't declare a school break so this girl can come and take care of the cats because they're used to being fed twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Back when I was working, Lindsay'd get up at 6 o'clock when my alarm clock went off, and she'd feed the cats their first meal then, and then again about 3:30, 4 p.m. just as I was getting home, and she got them programmed for early morning feedings and early evening feedings. And I'm going, this is your own fault, dear. Uh, you could have had it at 10, 12, and 2 and used less cat food per bowl, but no. Alarm clock woke her up just as well as it did me. Of course, I think it was mostly the alarm clock would go off, and I go, "Ah!" And she'd reach for her phone to start dialing 911 in case I just had a heart attack from listening to the alarm clock. And she'd just get up and feed the cats because she's already awake, and then go back to bed for a little while, and then come back in and vacuum and make sure the kitchen was up to her standards. Uh, that's one thing about being a former nurse. Your kitchen is always going to be hospital clean. You are not going to want to let anything happen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It wasn't your ride. They're headed to Dawn's to check on why she's not in the show. Oh, it's just
What?
about that time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now watch Dawn wake up and roll over and put the glove on. True glove. Oh,
Wow.
I hate it. My copy of that is not as sharp and clean as Joe Dogg's, and he's the one that sent the copy to me. So must have been something in the email that compressed it a little bit too much.
Yep.
But yeah. Um, Thank y'all for being here with me. I thought about running late, and then I went, why? Um, we could talk for hours. We'll do that tomorrow night. Uh, Uncensored. And if you're not a member of Uncle Carl's Secret Humor Group, count your blessings because we are definitely too cool for school.
It's one way of putting it.
Face it, we'd be censored by Ronan Martin's Laugh In. Hell, we'd be censored by Dean Martin's Celebrity Roast.
I was thinking George Carlin, but okay.
No, I don't think George would censor us. He'd just demand equal time. Um, and, and probably file a lawsuit about me using so many of his jokes. But, life is life. I remember George from when he was appearing on black and white TV shows in a suit and tie and telling extremely uncontroversial material.
Well, when you're first starting out, you got to get foot in the door before you can let your true self show.
Yeah, and the other corollary for that was I was really young, and if he'd been doing stuff on other shows where he didn't keep it clean, my parents wouldn't have let me watch it because it took almost an act of Congress to get them to let me stay up late enough to watch Midnight Special in the 70s when it wasn't a school day the next day. But I did still have to get up at the break of day to hop on the tractor and be farming.
Hmm. I actually had doctor's permission to stay up late because he told my mom, he says her sleep patterns are not the same as other people. She's evidently going to be a night person. So, let her read a book or something. Send her to bed, let her read a book or something. But you're not going to force her to go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night.
No. That's when the cats start trying to herd Lindsay to bed. And I'm going, baby, um, you had to re-watch 3 of your soap operas today because you nodded off in the middle of them, and you've already slept 6 hours. You do not need to be going to bed at 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I can hear the TV going right now, whether it's the one in the bedroom or the one in the living room, I do not know. But evidently, when Hillary woke her up, she couldn't go back to sleep, so now she's watching something.
Mm-hmm.
Probably another one of her shows. She's got a lot of different shows she likes to watch. She's getting fed up with all the uh, modern day plots in the soap operas because they're all either infidelity or um, damn near science fiction murder mysteries where it don't matter who you think the killer is, it's always going to be the guest star that's on in the last week of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I'll sit up and I'll watch science shows and cooking shows and things like that, and it might be 2 a.m. before I go to bed. But if I go to bed any earlier, I'm going to be awake before daylight, and I'll be the only one in the house that's awake before daylight. So if I move to get out of the bed, the entire menagerie and my wife will wake up and go, What? What? No, no. I'm going, honey, let me stay up late and we can get to snuggle in the morning once the dog and the cats have gone outside.
I'll get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to use the bathroom, and as I go back to bed, I'll see that the light down the hallway to Carl's office is on. And I'll go in there and like, you okay? And he says, yeah, I couldn't sleep any longer. And I'm like, yeah. And what time did you go to bed last night?
7:30.
8:30, 9 o'clock. Yeah, you slept your over 8 hours. It's no wonder you're awake at 4 in the morning.
Exactly. And when I was working, I would normally only sleep about 6 hours, even after a 12-hour work night. I'd come in, I'd have a couple of beers to chill down, and I'd watch anime or something, and then go to bed before 10, and I'd be up and hitting the ground running at 3:30, and didn't have to be at work till 7. It's all in what you get used to. But apparently, yeah, I'm quite used to being a night owl. Of course, there are times when I'm watching something that the narrator's voice is not modulated in any way, shape, or form, and about 15 minutes into it,
sound asleep.
Oh, God, it'll just be this, just like on other iterations of this show.
Well, it's time to say goodnight. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, it sounds like me with some of the tutorials I've tried to listen to for coding. I'm so glad that Udemy has a preview function where the people teaching it will add, little previews to some of the courses, and I will purposely play about 3 or 4 of them and go, okay, let's see if they sound excited in any of these. The previews are putting me to sleep. Okay, not buying this one.
No.
If you sound like you'd rather be lit on fire than teaching this class, you are not getting my money.
This is true. Let me put that back on that directory.
Time to say goodnight, Gracie.
Good night, folks. Go good, guys. And find us all at indiecd.org.
Yes.
And IndieCD Con coming up in 2 weeks in Fowler, Indiana.
Yep.
And don't nag my publisher about the 4th book yet. Let's wait till the 3rd one comes out.
Donna's going, damn it, now I gotta delete that email I had typed up.
Yeah.
Backspace.
No, he wouldn't have listened anyway. He's got an entire publishing empire to run, and he's doing pretty good. They're winning awards for anthologies, and I'm going, well, I'd write for one of those, but I can't think of anything to go with that topic. But good night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow night in the green room if you are in the know, and if you are not, hopefully Joe Dog will be able to run Stupid O'Clock at 10 p.m. on Saturday, and I'll be following up right after that.
And come support Nevermind the Furthermore in the morning on Nick Talker's channel, because I'll be hosting it again.
I'm sorry, I will not be awake by that time, I can promise you. It's very rarely I can wake up before 10 o'clock in the morning. I am retired. I have an excuse. So,
good night, all.
Good night, folks.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System was shut down. System was shut down. System was shut down.